Thank you. Good afternoon. Okay. Good afternoon to all participants and wish you on the best. Thank you very much to the university to allow me and invited me to become the to address the research workshop. As I am being a cost accountant also, the my statistical power of the research parameters mathematics is quite a good enough. There is no doubt about it. As you know that in the Monday we have discussed about the different type of the hypotheses and what are the way hypothesis can be developed. Yesterday we have went towards a parametric study, which is basically applicable for the ratio scale as well as the interval scale. There is also going to be the need to understand the non-parametric study, non-parametric test we have to do. Generally, the non-parametric test is being applicable whenever the data is going to be of the nominal and ordinal scale. And when I say additionally, it is always going to be useful for the any dissertation in any subject area you are developing. So here I am taking the background that there are the two significant approaches have been developed in the research methodology. One is basically known as the Isnanism approach, which is developed by the Dr. Auguste Comte, and second is the empiricism by the John Stuart Mill. Whenever we are trying to be talk about the commerce and finance research, then it is normally being based on the empirical approach. Now we also, as we know, the research is of two types. One is of the quantitative research, and second is going to be the uh, quantitative research. Under the quantitative research, we normally go with the positivist and the empiricist tradition to work on that. Empiricist means that it is based on the fact and figures of the every life we are being taking care of that. So it is non normative type of the things have been said in nature and it's going to be in the objective way. While the quantitative research is basically on a phenomenological and the naturalistic inquiry. So it is basically known as a subjective inquiry. As we have already discussed about the nominal scale, ordinal scale, and interval scale and ratio scale. Today I am just discussing on the classificatory scale, which is also the part of the nominal scale and which is very important for our any questionnaire we prepare. Then the first 10 questions approximately is going to be mainly depends on the nominal scale and the ordinal scale. So our thesis, when we try to be talk about research work to be done, this is going to be quite important. So we should, here we are using the number or symbol as nomenclature. So in the questionnaire formation, we are going to the Likert scale that some other resource person is going to discuss about it. It is also used for the purpose of identify the particular group. Only operations used in this particular nominal scales are equal to and not equivalent. So it is not going to be talk about a more than or less than, but not equivalent. Basic statistic used is a non-parametric statistics, which are basically frequency, mode, percentage, proportion of the descriptive purpose, chi-square test, then binomial test, and those things we are going to be discussed, and the contingency coefficient. As you know that I'm going to be arranging with SPSS 31 also, so that your work can be easy and you can use the action sheet also for the same thing. As we have already discussed so many times, so I'm just speedily moving it about the statistics and parameters. Parameters, we know that it is a statistics applicable to the population. It is known as the statistic when it is related to the sample picked up by us. Now, statistical inferences is of two types. One is going to be inductive reasoning, means we are trying to be make our own reasoning for the same. Like a doctor is going to be make the reasoning that a particular medicine is supporting in a particular disease also. That is known as the inductive reasoning. Second, we are trying to be look toward the theory of the probability. In our social science research, commerce and management research, we are normally coming down with the theory of the probability. That what is the probability that our work is significantly correct. Now, when we come down to the next point, it is also the same thing what we have discussed for 2 days. It is going to be the level of significance. As I mentioned, that in social science, where moderate level of the precision is required, we use the P, probability is 0.05. So probability is basically the level of significance, and 1 minus the level of significance, that is known as the confidence level. And the large sample size is more than 30. Number of time I have seen that research scholars are assuming 30 and more than 30 is equal to large sample. It is not so. It is more than 30. So you can say it is 31 or more is a large sample. And commercial research, social science research, we are normally testing the null hypothesis. And as we know, we have already discussed about the type 1 error, alpha, and the type B error, that is known as a beta. When the null hypothesis is rejected, when it is infective, then it is known as type 1 error. Type 2 error occurs when null hypothesis is accepted falsely, when it is false. So I took the 5 minutes or so to just recall you what we have discussed in date in a very brief way. Now we can say that the connecting of the data can be connected by any one of the way, by observations, through personal interview, through telephonic interviews, by meaning the questionnaires, or also by the through the studios. Now, what are the detailed methodologies there which is being taken care by another resource person? So I'm just assuming that you are knowing about how the data will be connected. Now, the another point is coming that once the data is being connected, it needs to be analyzed in a proper way. So it requires closely related to operation, such as establishment of different categories of data, like a gender data also, that is known as the categories, male or female, like that. Then we should do the coding of the database. Like when we use the linker string, someone can say that 1 is equal to the base one, or someone say 5 is the base one. So that is the coding methodology. Based on that, you have to do the editing. Editing is basically considered as a cleanization of the data. And then we put the data tabulation. Now today when we try to be talk about a parametric study, non-parametric study, part number 1 of our chapter number 4, where we are going to be do the data analysis. The tabulation is going to be based on computations of various percentage and the coefficient we have to do it. So now I can say that once the data have to be made tabular way or anyway, what are the way data should be presented in the thesis? Data can be presented either by numbers or it can be shown by way of tables. Like 3 types of the table we normally say: master table, simple table, and class interval table. In detail, I am coming one by one. Third point we have to mention about the pictorial presentation of data, that is known as a graphical presentation. Now the very important thing is that this is the one of the very important point. When we have the data composed of small size, here I am not saying sample. Let us understand. When we say the sample size, it is 31 less than 30. But when we try to become to the data presentation, small size is equal to 20. It is easy to present the data in the simple data format. Like a 20 students data, you can put it in a very simple database. But if the data is more than 20 values or observations are more than 20, it is better to pageant them by tables. So tables have to be prepared. So before we come down to the preparation of the table, I am taking the SPSS 31 view for you. Now whenever we go to the descriptive statistic report type, and then we can go to the analysis. In the analysis, we have the third point is available, that is known as descriptive database, where we are going to have frequencies, descriptive database, then we can have the population description, then we can work out the percentile also, we can explore database, we can prepare the cross tables, we can do the ppipnos, qqpnos, we can prepare the two variable qqpnos. So this is going to be indicate our graphical presentation. So now same way, the same type of report is available when you are going on the action database also. So you don't have to worry for that. Now I come down to the master table. I say three type of table. So first table is the master table. It is that contains all the information connected by the researcher. It difficult to be understood only by the researcher himself. It contains the information regarding all variable included in the study. You can use the spreadsheet in the computer Excel. So as a researcher, what I try to do, that when I see there is a limitation of the Excel sheet, data field size and so. So I normally give the abbreviation for each and every variable covered under the master table. And then in my diary, I am preparing the list that what is the meaning of particular abbreviation or which type of the data is covering. That is known as master table. Number two, we come down to the simple frequency distribution table. So here I have taken a parity distribution of mothers attending ANC clinic in the Ph.D. of Gujarat for the year 2026. ANC clinic is a hypothetical name is given by me. PSC stands for Primary Health Care Unit, a Primary Health Care Center of the Gujarat state for the year 2026, where I say that someone can go 0 time, 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 and more. And there is a 100 frequency I have taken it. And then I have taken the cumulative frequency. That is a 25 plus 14 is equal to 39. Like that, the table have been prepared. IF is basically indicating the respective frequency percentage. So 25 upon 100 means 0.25. In the same way, I worked out the cumulative frequency, relative frequency, then relative frequency percentage, and cumulative relative percentage. Now the characteristics of this table, the very important point of a simple frequency distribution table, our characteristics should be very clear. That table should be simple, easy to understand, and self-explanatory. Here I have the space limitations for there. So I have not put up the full form of the cumulative frequency, relative frequency and that. But you may like to, you are required as a research corner, the meaning of the each column or the abbreviation have been used. Each table should have a number, like you can say table 3.1 like something, and after the table number you should give the right title of the table. And if this particular table is taken from any reference or book, we should refer it at the bottom of the table. That shows that this particular table must source is particular way, so that your thesis is going to be self-understood. Now, next is coming to the Knash interval frequency distribution table. Knash interval means whenever it is not possible to take a absolute value like what I say GO1, 2, 3, 4. But it is going to be like a height of the students. Then you can say it is between, say for example, it is between 40 to 45 inch, 45 to 50 inch like that. Then it is known as class interval. So continuous quantitative type is present here as interval. The steps are to be followed for this. Now I am taking the one example. The 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 hemoglobin level for 70 pregnant women in Maharashtra hospital for the year 2026 is given. So here it is said 8 dash, but second is 9. It means that it is 8 to 8.99, 9 to 9.99, 10 to 10.99 like that. And the frequency have been taken. Cumulative frequency have been built up of 70. So last when we say the 15 to 15.9, the answer becomes the cumulative frequency becomes 70. And then we work out the relative frequency. So 1 divided by 70 is equal to 0.014. 3 divided by 70 means 0.043. 14 divided by 70 means 0.20. Same way the cumulative frequency percentage have been taken away. And we can work out the same thing. Now here we can say that to present them in the class interval need to determine the k value. So k value is always going to be, generally we should adopt in our doctoral thesis, is the k value is equal to 1 plus 3.322 log base of 10 and the number of sample. Log 10 means normal logarithm table. And we should take the number of sample here calculation. So that your cumulative database class interval frequency distribution table will follow up the required thing. The number of CIK should not be less than 5 and not more than 20. This is one of the limitations. One of the points we have to take care that number of k should not be less than 5 and cannot be more than 50. Then we can calculate the width. That is the range of the database divided by number of k we have to work out. So we can take the lower limit value, lowest value and highest value like that. We can work out the range and we can do it. And constant width, no gap between CI and no overlapping should be happen. And that is why I say that here I should say 8-8.99, 9-9.99, like that. In our commerce study, we used to be take the inclusive data series, exclusive data series. The very important thing is that in doctoral study, our table should be inclusive data series only. This is the way you are supposed to present your table in the chapter number 4, beginning. Then to come down to the particular analytical parameters, we have to prepare the graphs. So I am taking the 4 type of the graph only for easily understand by you, 3 or 4 type. One is going to be the bar chart, where I can say the state of the paper. It means physical health of the people. Person may be handy, person may be sick, or situation may not be clear. So you can say sometime he become a handy, sometime he become a sick. There we have taken the 478, 79% person. And here, to make my presentation proper, instead of the y-axis to be drawn on the left-hand side, I drawn the y-axis on the right-hand side. You can draw the y-axis on the right-hand side also, or you can draw the left-hand side also. Majority time of the research scholar have the opinion that it should be drawn on the left-hand side only. But make that point clear, I say that it can be done on the right-hand side also. And the bar graph is prepared. Now second we are coming to pie chart. our data is the remain same. I'm not changing the database. Now here it is said that 1 stands for healthy people, 2 stands for sick people, and 3 stands for 3 number, that is green color, stands for the situation is not clear. That is 9.5. So if we try to see the pie chart position only indicating that what is a higher level. Fourth chart we can have it, that is known as the scatter graph. Under the scatter graph, in the first chart I have prepared a histogram where I have prepared the bar and I have indicated it. Now here I can say that it is like in the way that it is going to be the 3, 2 and 1. So 1 is coming say 478, 2 is coming 100 and 3 is coming 57. Now we come to the fourth graph, that is histograph. Very important, bar chart and histograph both are equal on four charts are required in your doctoral dissertations, and those are considered as equal. Here it is a graphical presentation is used to present the continuous quantitative data and in class interval. That is what I said. The Maharashtra hospital, 70 pregnant women, hemoglobin level. This is the way graph have been prepared. That how what is the level of the person. Now here you can see it is 8 to 8.99, 9 to 9.99, and I have shown it here right. So here I have already completed at this moment two important points, that is presenting the data in the form of the table. Number two, presenting the data in the form of the graphical way presentation. Now next I am coming to the choosing an appropriate statistics test. Now our appropriate statistics test is going to be based on the way sample of scores was done. Like if you have used the Ninkus scan, or you have tried to be take the another type of the scan, the nature of the distribution of the population, kind of the measurement or scanning employed in operation definition of variables. I say that some students are saying 1 is equal to very good. Someone say 5 is equal to very good. So that scanning level is important. Then we should decide the condition of the statistics model to be used and a power of a statistical test. Because after working out the non-parametric test, we are going to show the result of the parametric test. I have taken yesterday the parametric test. Before the non-parametric test, the result was very clear that in case if time is less one, then today I can take parametric test further, and then I can speedily go through non-parametric test. Like I can remove the table and gap something, but it is not required. Now non-parametric test is basically known as the distribution fee statistics. Distribution fee. It is the test whose model does not specify the condition about the parameters of the population from which the samples are being drawn. That's a very important. Second is being coming with respect to the way observations are independent and apply to data in the ordinal and nominal scale, where we are going to be work out mode, median, and so. Now here, when we go to the SPSS 31, in the icon of the analysis, we get the non-parametric test. If you just see the neither major point, you can see that it's a one sample test, independent sample test, unit sample test, or night tag. Like I am taking only one classroom, then it's a one sample test. When I am taking a two classroom, then it's a two independent sample. Or I can take the united sample that before the training is provided and after the training is provided. Now this non-parametrical test is being done. Now I am showing you the result of the non-parametrical test. See, the very important benefit is that in the case of SPSS, in the case of SPSS, there is always going to be the points I being said about the description. Reject the null hypothesis, reject the null hypothesis. Then they are indicating null hypothesis what is written by you and the test have done it. Now here it is saying that we have used the Whitney U test. And here also when we look toward the independent man Whitney U test, it is giving us a full-fledged summary. So this is the benefit. The whole screen is going too much, but to explain you in the better way, I have taken the part of the short scale. Now, the way we can select it, like for two or more independent tests, we should select the fins, and then we can go ahead on that. Then we come down to the basic descriptive statistics, when only we have the one variable like height of the students, mark of the students, weight of the students in the classroom is available. Then we can have the measure of tendency is a mode, median and mean. Normally we are using the mode in the case of height of the student in a particular class, or it may be taken the median, but mean may not be useful because you cannot take the mean height. You should take the key how many students have particular level of height. Then we can measure the dispersion by the age, quantile deviation, arithmetic deviations, variance and standard deviation. We can measure the skewness by positively, normally, normal. Positively means right hand side, negatively means left-hand, normal means bench shape. Kurtosis means what is the height of the bar. Whenever we go draw the bar graph, there is a height is going to be indicated. That height is going to be measured by the kurtosis. Skewness measure is a area range over the which the data have been moved, while the kurtosis is indicating the upper or lower level. Then we measure the percent position, like a percentile, percentile. Then we can have the description of the distribution can be done, like a t-test that you know for small sample, z-test for the large sample, binomial test we can use it, that is chi-square one sample test, or we can go to the conglomerate one sample test and one sample run test, which is based on the decision of the randomness that I'm going to discuss in detail. Now, measure of the coordinations can be done by following type of the parameters I have given. I am not repeating the same because it may be the time consuming. Inferences, we have yesterday did the inference statistics where we have seen that there is some tests can be done like a t-test and ANOVA. People are nowadays using the ANCOVA in the case of the non-parametric study. Now here very important thing, the coordination of the test in the parametric test is used by Pearman S, Pearman's coordination I, while in the non-parametrics we are using the Spearman-Yank difference. Test association in parametric we are doing by contingency coefficient, while in this particular case, non-parametric, we are using the cadence coefficient level. And that is going to be the one of the very important point in our normal understanding. Okay. Then we have been coming down to the next one, that is the goodness of fit. We work out t-test or z-test. Here we can take the binomial test and KS test we are going to do it. I'm going to discuss about it. Compare the two sample, we have t test and sign test. More than two sample, we can go to the one-way ANOVA and question vanish test. And if we have to bifactorial, we have to do it, then we can go to the ANOVA. Now, I come to the binomial test. What is that? When the scores of a researcher are in the two classes, like P and Q, the binomial distribution is used. Like you have the two class only is that, whether people are being willing to use the send phone or not, like that. And there is a goodness of the fit type is to be done. Chi-square test, one sample test, these two tests, the non-hypothesis that the response like in favor of or indifferent or opposite to by differing frequency between observed and expected value. Then we take the sign test and KS test. Sign test. A sign test is basically the test of the randomness of the sequence of events in a sample. It means that what is the randomness is happen in our database on a regular way. That is going to be the one of the very significant point for us, that how the database is going to be used in the normal cases, and that's going to be make you to the proper way to do about it. So whether the sample have been randomly taken or not, that is we have to verify. And the KS test is a test of goodness fit. It determines whether the score in the sample can reasonably thought to have come from a population having theoretical distribution. Earlier when I have shown you the SPSS report generated, the report generated only saying that what is your null hypothesis and whether the null hypothesis is accepted or rejected. So you don't have to worry for that. But if you want to make the more study on that, you can use the Kanji book of the 100 statistical tests to understand the logic behind it. Two unit sample, one test is a McNamara test and second is a sign test. McNamara test is a two unit samples for applicable to those before and after design in which each person is used as his own control and in which measurement is in the strength of either nominal or ordinal scale. It means that whether the students secure the mark in mathematics before the particular Vedic mathematics has trained and after the Vedic mathematics have been trained. So we are getting a number of marks secured before the test and after test. So for that purpose, to find out that significance, we use the McNamara test. There is going to be the positive or negative sign case is being applicable, where we are going to be look toward the improvement in the behavior of an employee. Like a particular employee pass through the behavior training, whether his behavior within the department or between the department have been improved or not. So there some people say yes, he improved, some people say no, not improved. So there we are using plus and minus sign. And that test is known as a sign test. See, nowadays the very important thing is that in the commerce and finance, also people are doing the financial literacy study, financial behavior of a woman or financial behavior of a particular group of people. In such case, you require to use the KS test and McMahon test to take the decision and to work out the result. And that is why I covered in this particular discussion, because you, as a finance student, you may be going towards the portfolio management, then financial behavior, and in a human resource area, you can go towards finding out the importance of the training provided to the employees or anyone. Next test is coming. Next two tests are also very important, which is known as Winshotron match pair sign test and Vance test. It is the Wincoxon is the more powerful test than the sign test for semi-near use for unity magnitude and direction. SPSS is directly providing this option to you. So from your given database, it calculates the Winson match pair sign test. Then Vance test. It is used to test the whether the difference scores observed in two united samples are drawn from the symmetrical population. Like we can take the example of the Ahmedabad city. So it basically the sample of the Ahmedabad city. Then we can take the one area of Ahmedabad and we take the samples. We go to the second area of Ahmedabad and we take the sample. Then Vance test is to be used. Now chi-square test, median and Mann-Whitney U test. These are three another important tests. Chi-square test for two independent samples used to determine the significance of two independent groups. Like as you are the commerce graduate, you are already aware and you are done in the statistics that we try to say that the vaccine have been given to the one group of people and they attacked it by cornea or not. So you can say vaccinated, cornea not happen, cornea happen. Then not vaccinated, cornea happen, cornea not happen. And that way the chi-square test can be done. Second is going to be the median test, where the two independent groups differ in median. The test stands with the two independent groups have been drawn from population from the same medium or not. Like in our college, we may have in our first year college, the two divisions are there. We take the average height of the both group of divisions and we compare the median. Now, if the median is coming nearby same, we can say that they came from the same population. So samples are drawn from the same population. So in short, we can say that student with the age of 16 to 17 years is going to be having median height is something. Then we can use the Mann-Whitney U test. It is the test to whether two independent groups have been drawn from the same test. So one we work out from median and second we can verify our database by the Mann-Whitney U test also. Now then we can do the run test and randomization test. Run test. It is applicable when we wish to test the null hypothesis that two independent samples have been drawn from the same population in any respect whatsoever. Like you can say central tendency, variability, or skewness, you can measure for that. And that is going to be give you the exact idea. Randomization is saying that whether the significant differences happen between the medians of the two samples or not, whether the two samples are giving the different way or not. That is going to be worked out from the same parameters. Then we come down to the K-unit samples. It's one of the very important for our commerce and financial management study also. Coherent Q test, two unit sample for this purpose, and two or match set of frequency differ significantly. Then we can use the ANOVA test. Like we can say within the group, between the group, or some parameters are not being applicable. This is much more applicable for the HI-related activity. Then Kushkan-Vanish test, to outcome among the two independent groups. It used to compare the medians among the K comparison of groups. Is sometimes described as an NOI and the data is witnessed by Yang. Like we can work out the average IQ level of the three divisions of the first year commerce. Then we can use the Kushkan-Vanish test. Feynman two-way analysis of variance. Now, when we have taken the K samples and we come down to some conclusion, but as we know, every sample unit does not being in the same way. The sample unit's behavior or situation is to be separate. So, in that particular case, we have to systematically use the Feynman K sample test. Two-way analysis of variance is to be done. Measure of coordination to be done. Yesterday we have done the Pearson coordination and the Yang coordination. Spearman-Yang coordination is coming in the both place. That's the one of the very important thing. The contingency coefficient is establishing the relationship between set of attributes in the nominal scale. Like when I pick up the sample, practically speaking, my sample should include the male and female in the equal proportion. But there may be some error maybe happen. Then in such case, we may have to work out the contingency coefficient. Spearman coordination, Yang coordination, when one or both the variables are in ordinal scale. We can use the Spearman-Yang coordination. Ordinal scale, you know it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our beauty contains 4 judges are giving the different ranking to the each participant. Candle rank is also applicable for the ordinal scale. In the ordinal scale, we can do the Pearson-Yang coordinations to find out the effect of third variable. My only suggestions to the students that whenever you are using the ordinal scale database in your research thesis, you should calculate the Spearman-Yang coordination and Candle-Yang coordination both. And if you have the third variable with you, you can use the Pearson-Yang coordination. Now when I come down to the SPSS 31, it's directly giving the same indications that what is a man-Whitney test, what is the Winnicott test value, and everything have been given, and they are also giving the standard error where my cursor is. And they say that the significance level is less than something, so we less than 0.001, so that we have rejected the null hypothesis. The independent sample man-Whitney test, gender-wise also report can be available with you. With this, we understand very significantly the important non-parametric tests which we have to use in our doctoral dissertations. Very important. First, when your samples are drawn by questionnaire or by formal interview, informal interview, or survey method. Please do the non-parametrical test report first. Work out from the non-parametrical test, you decide the parametrical test. In the case of students who have been doing uh, doctoral study based on the financial, on any topic of the financial analysis or accounting analysis, ratio analysis, comparative study, common size study, or doing it on the working capital management behavior of a particular organization. So, or capital structuring theory or so. There you have to go through the parametrical test as a one important parameters. This is the point you have to keep it in your mind. So, if you face any time, any problem, you can approach me through my email. And as much as possible, I will help you out for that. Now, the advantages of the non-parametric test. Number one, it is used for on scale. So it's very important. In the SPSS, we have ordinal data scale, nominal data scale, and scale. Scale is basically includes the ratio and interval. So you can say that non-parametric test can be used for on four type of parameters. Number two, it is very easier to compute and you can develop originally before wide computer use. So when before 32 years ago, I have been awarded my doctorate. At that time, the computer were something different. There were no software on different type of scenario. At that time, we used to be more than non-parametrical test because it easily give us the idea that what parametric test is to be used. And that's why I said that there is a statistical, 100 statistical tests by Kanji, which is one of my favorite book. At that time also, before 40 years ago also, and today also. Whenever I stuck, I only refer to that book to get the clarity of idea. You can make a fewer assumptions about it, that how the data is there. So another very important point, it does not need to involve the population parameters. Means you are not supposed to assume that what may be the average height of the first year commerce students. Make very few assumptions, need not require the population parameters in your calculation. So regions may be worked out by you as exact when you use the parametric procedure, which is being said by the Pearson author in the year 2003, that you can use it. Now, one side we are saying advantages are there, but at the same moment, there are also the good and one of the disadvantages. Number one, may waste information. If data using parametric procedure, like converting the data from ratio to ordinal. See, some of the students are being trying to be convert the data from ratio to ordinal scale. No doubt, when we don't have the computer structure was there so much, and some statistical tests I have to perform at that time, then I convert my chi-square database, which was in the ratio or interval level, I convert into by data editing into ordinal scale. And then I was using parametric test. But today there is no need for that because you have the computer support is set. It is very difficult to compute when you have the very large sample studies are there. And number of time in the financial area, some confidential information is not available, so tables are not widely available. Now friends, if you have any question, you can ask to me. Now from the slide number 40 to 154, I have given the particular formulas for the same. So do you have any question? Here I have given you the procedure parameters to be used for parametric also, non-parametric also, and what are the way we can go ahead for this particular study. And here on non-parametric test like a sign test, I have said that how you can calculate it. And here I have taken that normal approximation is the n is greater than 10 and how the data have been noted and the p-value can be calculated. So when we try to work out some alternate hypothesis like p is equal to x is greater than equal to 0.7, means I am taking the last two value summation here. Now if x is equal to 0.05, then I will reject the null hypothesis. Today you may not be required to do it manually because SPSS will give the answer, but you should know and you should verify your reason before you come to this. Now here the rating I've been given. At point, is there evidence that medium rating is less than 3? Now here we may try to work out that non-hypothesis is equal to 3, alternate is less than 3, alpha value is 0.05, and then we calculate the test statistics where we say 1 and 2, that is on less than 3. So p value greater than 2 is equal to 1 minus px greater than 1. So when we look towards the binomial table with a probability of 0.5 and n is equal to 7, we get the value and we can say that we should not reject the null hypothesis. So it's possible that alternate hypothesis have been accepted. There is no evidence that median is less than. In the same way, you can do it for Winnickson-Yang test, where I have given one type of the working is to be do, and I know here is going to say that sir, time is now 5 minutes is left out. I agreed for that, and we can do the Winnickson-Yang test like a factor E number 1, factor E number 2. We give the ranking. You can say factor E 1, 2 as a judge 1, judge 2 in the beauty contents, and you can say that how the ranking have been given. Then you work out the sum of the rank. And after you work out the sum of the rank, you can say that identical distribution, whether it is shifted to left tail or into the right tail. And then we work out the value. Now here the smallest sample is taking 25.5, and we come down. Do not reject that 10 because parameters have been given. There is no evidence of the proper distribution. So you can use Winnickson sign test also in the same logic, and but Winnickson sign test to be used whenever the number of samples are more than 25. So these are basically the important conditions applicable which you are supposed to mention in your chapter number 3 of the thesis that why particular thing is done by you, and at that time you should mention the reason behind it. Okay, thank you very much for the on participants for the giving me the opportunity to discuss about the statistical parameters. When Dr. Dinesh have talked to me, I say that I will be more talking on the statistics because I know that this is where the students population is getting. The problem is happening in the majority of the research done by them. So I hope one of you are very happy and you want to understood the way I try to be